Murphy knows how to win. He believes that with the right attitude, energy, and effort, anything is possible.
ReliaQuest.
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 ReliaQuest is putting its money where its mouth is. It's kicking in $1 million to launch the program.
When fifth graders in Hillsborough County come to J.A. BizTown this year, they can work here in a mini ReliaQuest.
ReliaQuest at a minimum will be adding an additional 150 jobs.
We've got to talk about what's going on with ReliaQuest and let the world know technology is alive and well in this Tampa Bay area.
I challenge you as you move on into your careers to ask yourself 2 questions. How good can you be, and why not you?
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you allowing me to come up and spend some time with you today. I know it's been a productive and probably long 2 days of absorbing a lot of information. This has been a phenomenal convergence on Tampa from across the state of top technologies, top educators, elite military teams. If you name it, you've probably met it around this convention center with 5,000 people. For me, I was excited about this. Mark Blumenthal called me. We had a quick conversation. I think we talked for about 30 minutes, and about 30 seconds in, I said, yep, sure, let's do it. I had seen Synapse last year advertised nonstop, and we were connected, and we hadn't seen each other probably since 2011 or 2012. And what I told Mark, and Synapse strikes a chord with me. I have a unique perspective on opportunity across Florida because I was born and raised here. So I have an immense amount of pride in our state. I've lived in all stretches of the state, it feels like. And what's interesting is growing up here and starting to study that Florida history class that you never think you're going to reference back to in your life. So Miss Watkins, thank you. And she taught a little bit of the state's history, and you learn about names like Plant and Flagler, going up different coasts of the states, gambling and sometimes just betting against each other, and I think most of the time competing with each other to build hotels and build railroads and build businesses. And there's so many of those stories of entrepreneurs in the very early economies of Florida growing and starting, and whether it's farming and agriculture to a lot of the businesses that are still here and run today. And I got excited about that history. That's where I really started to enjoy history and have kept that passion still today. And I started to read stories about that entrepreneur that had the crazy idea to open up a grocery store across the street from a Hoggly Woggly, and believed that what was missing in the grocery business was a customer focus and a focus on the customer experience. And that company has grown now to be headquartered here in Florida. And it's a Fortune 100 company with 200,000 employees, and it's the largest employee stock ownership plan in the world, and we call that Public Supermarkets. Or an entrepreneur that had the guts to go buy a bunch of citrus fields and had this idea that imagination would drive an entire business, from a media empire to an amusement. It would change the face of people, how people vacationed across the world, all in concept by creating stories and concepts and getting people to use their imaginations in a way that put them in creative places and could do better things. And we all thought, not me, I wasn't around then, but people thought Walt Disney was nuts. And we've seen what a large part, a good part of that, grown in Florida, has done to our economy. So as I was growing up, I didn't know what an entrepreneur was, but I loved reading stories about people and the things that they do. And when I started my company here in Tampa 11 years ago, ReliaQuest, I didn't found it on an aha moment. I didn't hit my head, draw the flex capacitor, discover time travel. There was no big idea. The concept was to build teams of groups of people that could solve difficult problems and have ideas. As a company, if you can grow a company that can have sustainable ability to maintain momentum and to have ideas, look for ways to get a little bit better. That was the concept. So when I started the company, I didn't get out a piece of paper. I didn't go to my chamber. I didn't go to the latest panel and start taking notes on all the reasons it was hard to start a company in Florida. all the things I needed to be able to start a company in Florida. I didn't do that. I referred back to that store across the street from Hoggly Woggly and that guy that was, throwing oranges out of the way and imagining what we now go to and are sometimes it feels like a special form of torture where kids are unhappy, parents are unhappy, but it's a glorious, happy place that we go to, and we walk through that park at 90-degree weather. So as we grew and scaled, I started to use my appreciation for the talent around the state, the talent that lives in our universities. I was a product of Florida State University. I appreciated the education system here. I appreciate the wealth of knowledge, the scale and the size of University of South Florida, University of Central Florida, University of North Florida, FIU, FAU, Miami, Florida State. There's a reason I said UF last. It is a great university. I can't let that bias go. But our universities do a phenomenal job at teaching people how to learn. And it was my view that it was a company's responsibility to take someone who knows how to learn and provide them with continuous training and development along their path to grow their career. And if you do that, people are going to do great things for you in the right environment with the right mindset. I found tremendous value in our vast ecosystem of active duty and reservist men and women across all branches of the military that call Florida home, whether it's their home they were born and raised in or it's where they were stationed during their time serving our country. That's a population. They know how to learn. They know how to train. They know how to make quality decisions with limited information. And wherever they go, whatever their next mission is, they buy all in. They want to add value. They want to move the needle. So I started to take these different groups, these different classes, this different opportunity in the state. And that's the reason why some kid from Middleburg, Florida, who was born in Margate, Florida, raised in Middleburg, school in Tallahassee, and started my career in Tampa, could take $50,000 and start a company and grow it at rapid scale, running head-on at one of the most difficult challenges of our time in cybersecurity, and learning along the way ways to get better. And we took pieces of innovation and automation from what we'd learned. We started building and developing technology in 2012. And by 2014, we launched security model management. We launched the innovation structure that we use today. In the last 3 years, we've grown 5x. Along the way, I wasn't looking for capital. That was always the thing I was told. No capital firms will come to Tampa. Nobody's going to find somebody in Florida. We raised $31 million of 2016. We weren't looking, and we didn't need the cash. And they found a way to fly from JFK Airport to Tampa International, and they made it safely to Harbor Island, where we're headquartered. It was amazing. And they enjoyed the weather. They started the search in January, and I think we only got a term sheet in February because they got to come back to Tampa in February. We've been able to take an idea and an innovation, that product line, that security model management, starting from zero and an idea and a scratch pad in 2012 to its first sale in 2014, will generate in 2019 over $100 million of recurring revenue in less than 5 years. It was all done here in Tampa. We opened our global SOC in Ireland, hired 30 people from Tampa. Our teams did it here. We have 100 employees in Las Vegas for redundancy. Again, really easy, great access from our headquarters here in Florida. I've not once found an issue that couldn't be solved. I've never found a thing that kept me from growing, a reason to relocate, or some type of competitive disadvantage that hindered me. And as I look at this conference and I walk around, what I think is phenomenal about it is it's the only thing, to my knowledge, that gathers all of these stories like this into one room so everybody can gain an appreciation that that's happening all across the state. The diversity of culture, the diversity of creativity, the diversity of ideas across the state is shocking. The industries are shocking. I get excited about it. I have a special pride about the state of Florida, but But I would contend if there's anyone here that's starting a company, growing a company, or interested in it, it's unique that we're standing in this arena, right? There's that famous Theodore Roosevelt quote, if it's not the critic that counts, it's about the person that's in the arena doing the work. I would challenge everybody as we look at Synapse today and going forward, the relationships that we've made, the awareness we now have of other technologies, is to play big. I contend that the opportunity in the state of Florida is not an opportunity of the future. It's an opportunity that we should leverage the success of our past in this state and so many companies that have grown in scale. The current opportunity that we see just being here today that should embolden us to take our shots in the future. And there's no state that can stand toe-to-toe with our capability and our technology, our access to workforce, and our ability to train, grow, and scale. And ReliaQuest and myself will continue to invest in our school systems, our universities, our programs, and we'll continue to call Tampa and the state of Florida home. Couldn't be more proud to be here. I'm glad to be working with all of you. We're very proud to be a sponsor of this event, and thanks for letting me spend some time with you today, and let's go get it. Thanks a lot.